Hi, I'm Ellie Pilcher. I'm the author of What Planet Can I Blame This On? And I'm also the head of fiction marketing at Bonnier Books. So to tell you a little bit about my writing and publication journey, I actually started writing when I was a teenager, and from about the age of 16 is when I started taking it seriously and looking for an agent. I didn't actually get an agent until I was 25 years old. I'm now represented by Hannah Wetherall at the North Bank Agency. But in that kind of 9-year period, I wrote 4 novels. I did a history and creative writing degree, which really helped me hone my writing skills and learn all about constructive criticism. But when I was 25, I got my agent after nearly getting published. Ultimately, that actually didn't work. I've almost been published twice before I actually got published. I was almost published by Unbound, which is a crowdfunding publisher, and I pulled the plug on that project because I wasn't in the right headspace for crowdfunding. And then the second time, an editor was interested, and unfortunately, as she took it to acquisitions, she actually left the company. So I kind of lost my support in that publishing arena, shall we say. But I did manage to get my agent out of that experience, though. It's still a good time. And then I had my first novel published this time last year, really, 3rd of June 2021, and that was What Planet Can I Blame This On? This was published by Hodder Studio, which is an imprint of Hachette Publishing, and it is a women's fiction novel. It's all about a woman that decides to follow her horoscope instead of listening to her friends or taking advice or making any decision for herself, really. So it's a romantic comedy, lots of silly things happen, and it was a wonderful experience to sit down and write during lockdown. It took me 3 months to write. I actually got the deal to write the book in September 2020, and I finished the book on the 30th of December 2020. It's the speediest writing project I've ever done, and I'm very grateful for it. And like I said, it was great for have something to do during lockdown. In terms of my writing schedule, I only write at weekends, and that's because as someone that works in publishing from Monday to Friday, I am constantly thinking and writing and talking about books, and whilst that's incredibly wonderful, at the end of the day, I really don't have the energy or time to look at my own. So I only ever write at weekends, which means I do have to do a lot of writing at the weekend in order to hit my writing goals. I typically aim to do 5k words a day, so 5k on Saturday and 5k on Sunday, and if I can't write both days, and I'll try and do 10k in one day instead. I am a pretty fast writer, and that is in part because I'm a plotter, not a pantser. I used to be a pantser, so I used to just write without having any kind of plan, but now I have a chapter breakdown, I have a character list, I have a full synopsis, so that whenever I put down and pick up my writing, I know exactly where I need to go, what my characters are doing, what they look like, what they're saying, and I can just pick up and put down wherever I am, so that if I miss a weekend, for example, because I've got plans or I'm not feeling it, then the following weekend I can still get 10k words down without any issue whatsoever. But I am quite I do follow my routine to the letter, always at the weekends. I always try and write something every weekend, even if it is just a few thousand words. And but yes, that's my writing routine. So there are many highlights and challenges to being a writer. As a traditionally published author, I always think the highlight for me was the day I signed on the dotted line, just because it was the day that I realised someone believed in my writing or believed in me enough to write a book, and that was a big high for me. I think if you're a self-published author, honestly, the highs will be different, but for me, it was the signing on the dotted line for that, and also when I got my agent as well, just again that support system that's put in place, the fact that someone believes in you, it's not all in your head, because writing is a solitary career choice, so having that one person or a few people is always really nice. In terms of challenges, obviously there is the solitariness of writing, but it's also the writer's block. Only you can overcome it, and the energy you need to have to write, because even though you're sat at a desk or on your sofa, wherever you may be, writing, it actually does take a lot of mental energy to write a book. So staying on top of that and making sure you don't get writer's block or burnouts is a really difficult challenge. And I think for me, I tackle that a lot by having a fairly open routine. So I don't say I have to write every weekend. I say that I am aiming to write every weekend, for example. And if I want to go out instead, then I'll go out instead. You know, I'm never going to force myself to do something. Even with deadlines approaching, I know that it's approaching, so I have to find the time. But I think allowing yourself those moments to kind of have a break, to step away, to go do something else, to clear your mind, to get new ideas, whatever it may be, is a great way to overcome those challenges. But for me, I think the highlights are definitely when someone believes in you, and the challenges are potentially having to propel yourself forward when you're not sure anyone believes in you. So the one piece of advice I'd wish I'd had before I started my writing journey was that every writer's journey is different, so you shouldn't compare yourself, because I've yet to meet, as a writer and as a publisher, two writers that have the same journey. It's not as linear as we are told. We're not many writers finish a book, email an agent, get a traditional published deal, and then become a bestseller. That is so rare, and in fact I've actually yet to see it happen. For the most part, everyone has a different journey. I know for me that I started writing when I was 16. I started applying for agents, and I didn't get an agent for 9 years, and I got published almost two times before that, without an agent. But now I am a traditionally published author with an agent. My first book was published in a way that was different. I hadn't written it before I got the book contract, for example. So it's never put yourself down because of what's happening to other people. Never compare yourself to other authors, because everyone's route into publishing, be it self-published, traditional published, agented or unagented, is completely different. And yeah, to enjoy the journey, I think, because only you are going to experience it. So. The things I'm looking forward to next include going out on submission. I've got another novel which I've just recently finished editing, and we're getting ready to submit to traditional publishers. I'm also writing my next novel, and that's been really fun so far, particularly because it's a Christmas novel, and I'm writing it during a heatwave. And it's an interesting experience. I've never written a Christmas novel before, and I've never written a Christmas novel in a heatwave. So yes, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to next, and really seeing where my writing career takes me. I have no aims specifically, getting published at some point again would be lovely, but I'm not one of those people that puts pressure on themselves unnecessarily, so I'll let my agent do that for me. So yes, writing the next book and seeing what happens when the other book goes on submission are what's next for me.